Oh, woo, 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 woo,
Aw,
woo.
oh,
Woo,
little friend
woo,
the
woo,
owl.
woo, 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 woo.
She's
So
always
say, I don't
cheery.
know which one is me and which one is the owl. Woo, woo. The
Always cheering you up.
question of the day. Woo, woo,
Mm-hmm.
woo, 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 woo. A very scholarly looking owl too.
Yes, we do.
All right. Anyway.
So tonight's show is going to be quite interesting.
But have your barf bags next to you, or whatever you may need in case you get sick to your stomach. Um, I mean, that's not a great ad. I apologize. Steve. It's like you're going to listen to this and get sick, but it's a very important warning. Um, very important warnings for all of us. For all of us. So. Um, but it isn't really anything. Another great ad. It's not anything really new. um, it's just things are getting. It's getting more and more. It's getting closer and closer to implementation. And I don't know. We both feel kind of smothered or close to being smothered by it, right? Right, Dee? Uh oh, I've lost D. Um,
Yeah.
there you are. I lost you for a minute.
I
Um,
should. Let me see something.
okay.
Okay, I'm in here. Oops.
You're in here twice now. Technical difficulties tonight.
Yes, let me just.
Yeah, you gotta
I
make
remove.
one of you exit. There you go.
Yeah, one's that. Oh,
How's that
okay.
working? Is that all right?
Wait, let me just.
Hmm.
Okay. How's that? That's better.
It's all right. It's all
Oh,
right.
and I need to share the show around. So let me. I'm gonna have to use my laptop for that.
All right.
Um,
Yeah,
well,
I don't. I mean, I want to do the show, but if it's really technically difficult, we may do some and then finish it tomorrow.
yeah.
Um, because this is really important stuff that, you know, probably many of you already know about it, but there was a conference on Thursday of 60 countries, more or less, on the issue of fighting international terrorism, but not like the war on terror that we were all sold after 9/11.
Mhm.
This instead is basically a war on dissent, a war on what Rubio and Steve Miller call the extreme left, the far left, whatever that means, because the definition of far left or too far left keeps changing. So
Mhm.
if you live in the UK and you speak out in favor of Palestine action, you're a far left terrorist, um, which is really um, an infringement on free speech. And if you say a kind word about communism or socialism, or I assume just plain old Cuba, if you say a kind word, or if you say that the US should not invade Cuba, you're probably going to be labeled as a far right extremist.
Mhm.
And if you're Republican or conservative and you say something questioning Israel, you'll be, no, it doesn't matter that you're Republican or conservative, you'll still be labeled a far right, a far left terrorist. So they're coming to get us, and this is not something new. This is something that a lot of us have known about for about a year and a half. It's the new National Security Presidential Memo number 7,
Mhm.
which basically has given license to any and all agencies of the state to smother, muffle, jail dissenters, because we're we are the new. It's like people say 50's the new 40. Well, we are the new quote unquote terrorists because we dare to speak up against US policy, against policy in the UK, against policy in Europe. Um, and Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller are the salespeople for this.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where you want to start, Dee. So,
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the audience to come in. Trying to share it around because we don't really don't have an audience yet.
mm, all right.
Mhm.
Well, but we have had on Saturdays, so it should be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
We'll be getting an audience then. But
we
usually
were
I
in.
share it. I have to share it first
Okay.
to the usual people that come in that they know we're here, and then on X.
Okay. So, do you want me to speak? To keep
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
it?
Just keep talking.
Oh, I can't. Oh, here's Evelina. Uh,
Okay.
um. Yeah. I mean, Stephen Miller. The first time I ever saw him speak, it was on TV, and it was when I was still living in the States. And he was like an automaton with a thick rod of steel going through his body so that he'd have absolutely no feelings for anybody or anything. And he went on about the left in at that conference the other day, and he said, "I don't know about you," and we all know. I mean, picture Stephen Miller in your mind. He is not one of the world's most attractive men,
No.
not even close. And he could be, he could be, but he isn't. He could be a very nice person, but he isn't. It's not about looks for me, but you'll know why I'm saying it when you hear what he said. He said the people on the left, and he called them, or us, Antifa, he said, nobody, quote unquote, looks normal. They're all deformed in some way. all the people on the left. And he said, in part, it's because they hate people so much and they have so much hate for others in this world that you see the marks of hatred all over their faces. Like, um, have you taken a look at yourself in the mirror, Stephen Miller? Because the hate he feels for immigrants is written all over his face. And so he has some nerve talking about people on the left.
Definitely.
But
I
of go ahead.
no, I was like shocked he said that because I'm like, he looks like he could be in a coffin.
He could be a what?
He could be inside a coffin.
Oh, a coffin. Yeah. Yeah, and what I read about that later on, a little later on after I heard it for the first time, is it's basically, yeah, he is talking about himself. He's a little bit like one of the people in the Adams family. Mm.
Yeah, he
Uh,
looks dead.
well, that's what I said. I mean, I don't think he's got any feeling in that heart of his.
No.
That doesn't mean he's dead, but he's dead to the world. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody said, um, that it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan to dehumanize people. And we
Mm-hmm.
know what happens when people are dehumanized. When people are dehumanized, such such as the people in Gaza or Palestine are dehumanized, the more powerful get away with, literally get away with murder, because they're not, people are not seen as people. um and I mean, remember Yoav Galant at the beginning of all this, calling the Palestinians human animals. And I mean, at the beginning, right after October 7th, because this has been going on since 1947,
Mm-hmm.
1948. But this is the process of dehumanizing the left. Now, also, if we can, I don't know if we can show the Savvy Sabs clip, but she said, right, I just threw myself off. Um, if we, oh yes, and it's not only the left that's going to be tarred with this brush, because her theory was that if people were still supporting Israel, this would never have happened. But
Mm.
because people are not supporting Israel, or Israel is losing support in greater and greater numbers from both the right and the left, the young and the old, the Jewish people and the non-Jewish people. They have to, they being, I hate to use the word elite, so I'm going to put it in air quotes. The elite are coming up with ways of preparing for all of us to disappear. And I've never quite felt the closeness of this, as much as I have today in listening to Rubio and Miller. Rubio makes me sick to my stomach, because he sounds smart. He can piece together an analysis and sentences. But he makes me feel sick to my stomach. On the other hand, Stephen Miller is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to throw something at the computer screen, because he's been a quote unquote mastermind of the ICE, of what ICE is doing, of the policy against immigrants, both legal and non and undocumented. And he just, I mean, what's been happening nationwide around this is is just horrific. And living in Colombia and seeing the response of Colombians to what happened to the young man Joan in Biddeford, Maine, it
Mm-hmm.
just it's just totally heartbreaking. And then Abelardo de Espriella says nothing. Cepeda and Petro say stuff, but the new guy, I guess all he feels he needs to do is walk around saluting. That's all he, you know. If he salutes, he's responded. Um, these are going to be a very, very tough, in the US, a tough 2.5 years, and in Colombia, a tough 4 years. With the authoritarianism that's mixing with horrific policies. No, they do not stand out for their brilliant minds. Um, oh,
Mm.
what do you have to say about this, Dee? I've spoken a lot.
I'm shooken up. Yeah, I'm.
Oops, there goes Dee. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like any one of us here in this room could do a better job than Marco Rubio. And I mean, the one thing he's got that some of the other elected officials don't have or appointed officials don't have is he's bilingual. But I'm bilingual too. I'm not to the same extent as he is, but enough. Um, and our knowledge here in this room about foreign policy goes far deeper and is much more informed than the analysis that either Stephen Miller has. Stephen Miller has no analyses. He just, I'm white and I'm better. Marco Rubio is attempting to sell something to the
Yeah.
public, but and he's not a bad salesperson, um, but he's an awful human being.
Yes.
Uh, and Cuba, Venezuela, they're both, I mean, so much of what's happened in the last couple years is to kind of take away any support that Cuba has. Colombia, Colombia, to Gustavo Petro's credit, he's still fighting, and he and Cepeda are talking about the possibility that there will be no transition of power, um, because what Abelardo wants is circles of paramilitaries around some of the urban centers of Colombia, and Colombia's past experience with paramilitary has been horrendous. In fact, we talked about this a couple years ago, right, Dee?
Yes, we
Where
did.
a couple retired IDF people whose names escape me right now, they came in to Colombia and set up the first paramilitaries, and some of those paramilitaries are still around, and Abelardo wants to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And Petro and Cepeda are saying, not so fast. No, you don't. Um, so there may be a standoff. Monday is the anniversary of Colombia's independence. I think 215 years ago, something like that. Um, and they're going to be large rallies in the streets of Colombia, um, probably in the major cities mostly. And
Mhm.
there'll be a, this is shaping up to be a standoff because Petro still has the power as president. And he's saying that there will be no transfer of power if Abelardo is at a military base, and there will be no transfer of power if Abelardo wants the paramilitary groups to surround the cities for security purposes. I mean, I've lived here now for almost for more than 3 years, and I was I've traveled by myself. I've gone to places by myself. I have felt comfortable enough to do that. And today I was in a bus terminal with a friend, and for the first time, I mean, and we haven't even had the change of power yet. For the first time, no, it will not be in Abelardo's favor. Um, for the first time, I was sitting there having coffee with this friend of mine, and all of a sudden there was a commotion behind us or in front of us,
Mhm.
depending on which side of the table we were sitting on. And there were a couple police who had grabbed this man, and not, I would say from distance, he looked like he was maybe in his early 30s, maybe younger, and they were roughing him up, but I didn't have any idea why. And he had a young son watching, and the son was crying his eyes out. And I thought, all these images of people throughout the world now who, are afraid that their father or their mother will not come home at night because they'll be detained by some paramilitary, like ICE in the
Mhm.
United States is a paramilitary. Um, they're Trump's personal Gestapo, and there are more and more incidents that we're finding out about with ICE terrorists. Can I say? Um,
And that's why, like you said, Madeline, they want to build all the detention centers.
hmm Well, yeah, I mean, and in Colombia too, they want to build 10 mega prisons.
Mhm.
Uh, um, yeah, Evelina says, and she's right. Independence Day, the festivities around it brings out revolutionary fervor in people's hearts and minds. Yeah, and it's pretty hard to feel independent if your president is going to set up these paramilitaries all over the country. Um,
Mhm.
I feel like I have been extremely fortunate to live here during this time and not in the US, because Petro from the start has been pro Palestine. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing Abelardo is going to do.
Mhm.
He's going to reestablish ties with the Israeli government. He's going to open up a new Colombian embassy in Jerusalem. And he doesn't say this, but we know what's going to happen because we had studied Colombian history even just for this show. Um, he's going to make Colombia the Israel of Latin America again. Um, and I think a lot of people's stomachs are turning over that idea.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
and we know that almost 13 million people voted for Cepeda and Kilque in the second round of the elections. So yeah, Abelardo is definitely about dependence, dependent dependent on psychopaths.
Yeah,
I mean,
all the
we got,
psychopaths are there.
we got people in the U.S. saying it's time to invoke um, uh, t- Amendment
25.
25 because Trump isn't fit to lead anymore, and it's pretty hard to argue with that.
Oh, it
Um,
is.
not that Vance would be that much better, but really, the man is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is dangerous. Look what he's doing in Iran. I mean,
He's a madman.
yeah, and the press goes along with it, and then the press turns it around and repeats what Trump says, which is Iran better cooperate and behave because if they don't, we're go we're going to obliterate them again. It's on them, and then people forget that Trump and Netanyahu illegally started a war of aggression against Iran.
Right, he acts like they're his pet, that they're a pet. You better heal.
Yeah, or I'll put you on a leash.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Evelina, I'm with you. I hope that things will not go well for Abelardo.
mm,
Are you on August 7th when power is supposed to change hands? I think, I mean, what I've noticed about Petro, he doesn't back down.
no,
If he feels he's right, and if he's got the proof, it's not just a stubbornness. He researches things thoroughly. If he thinks he's right, and most of the world will agree with him that super amount of fraud here in the elections in at the end of June. He's not going to back down.
no.
So, um, you know, I just hope there isn't. Well, we know Petro is a non-violent type, so I don't know what he'll do or say to minimize the violence or eliminate the violence, but it could get ugly. Um,
Well, we saw
and
the butchery in Venezuela.
oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I'm putting my foot down. That's kind of what Petro is like. I'm putting my foot down here because if I don't, I won't be able to live with myself after
Right.
this. And Colombia is the country I love, and Mr. Espriella has already said he doesn't like Colombia at all.
He hates Colombia.
Yeah, so how do you have a person um, governing a country that they can't stand? But Mr. Rubio also is talking about the need to eradicate the FARC in Colombia, the ELN, and these are two organizations. I mean, I've been following Colombian politics now for about a decade, and the peace accords. Now, the peace accords that were signed and implemented several years ago, the last part of those peace accords were hammered out and signed in Havana, and that ended up putting Cuba on the terrorist list because they supported Colombia's efforts to pass and develop peace accords. Yeah, workers' national strike can be a good nonviolent measure. Yes, Evelina, and what I, what people have said is that that national strike in 2021 paved the way for Petro to be elected the first time because the streets of Colombia, like Cali is another one of the cities where these paramilitaries will be set up. Barranquilla, another place. Remember the first line? I don't know, Dee, if we talked about it. The Primera Linea, the first line, which was in 2021. Well, that was before you had the show. Um, was it 2021? Before? Yeah. When
Yeah,
did you? Yeah. Um, those were the frontliners were mostly young people who felt
yeah.
like they had no place to go. They had no job. Finding a job was hard. Paying for education was hard. Um, and so people poured out into the streets. A national strike, not just for workers, but for young people and others. Um, that that could very well be coming. Um, but this whole issue of whether or not there can be a transfer of power has got to be reconciled or resolved first,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or not, or just a standoff like checkmate. What you're not going to be able to do anything, and so I, Gustavo Petro, I'm going to stay in the in the presidential building, and we're not going to transfer power until you meet several key conditions. Um, and people can get angry at that all they want, but that would be exercising presidential powers. It's
Mm-hmm.
not outside the law. Um, it's just like I said, Petro saying, "I'm putting my foot down," and then Cepeda in the Senate will do the same, and yeah, or not. Cepeda would do the same, and Kilque would do the same because she's in the House of. I don't think it's the Assembly. She's in the Assembly, and so and Pacto Historico has the majority of seats in both houses. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a political strategist, which I am for the U.S., but I'm learning for Colombia. If you have the majority of seats, then you have a lot of power if you can activate those people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, while some people that I know are very pessimistic about where Colombia will go, and surely if Abelardo is the president, that are already going, Colombia is already going in the wrong direction. There are others who are saying, wait a minute, not so fast. We have tools, we have options. We're going to resist, and we're going to lay down some conditions for you as an incoming president. And if you don't meet them, we're not transferring power to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's weird because if Trump did that in the US, some of us would be all over that. But basically, what's being advocated for here is to keep the Trump administration and the Trump corrupt hands off the government, out of the government of Colombia.
Exactly.
And
We're seeing what they're doing in Venezuela.
yeah,
Mm.
they The IDF is back in Venezuela too now. Uh,
Mm.
and, Netanyahu has been working on getting a whole block of, shall we say, far right politicians. Um, Keiko Fujimori in Peru, Milei in Argentina. Although Milei is losing his grip on Argentina, one of my instructors is from Argentina, and she said it's not really as monolithic as I was making it out to be. So I said, okay, um, because the World Cup coming up, it is constitutional, Evelina. It would seem so. It would seem. I mean, I have faith in Gustavo Petro that he wouldn't violate the Constitution to do this, but I'm not overly familiar with the Constitution of Colombia yet.
Mhm.
But look at this. You've got Messi and Argentina against Spain on Sunday, and you imagine Trump having to give the trophy to Spain?
Ah, I would love it.
Oh my God, what would he say and do? How would he handle that? Um, maybe, well, no, he wouldn't. He's not that kind of person. I was going to say maybe he would just ask somebody else to do it. Right.
Yeah, no, he's got to be right out there.
But he will, it's like what he said. What did he, I like all these holidays like Mother's Day and such, where he starts out mentioning the holiday and then gives a backhanded slap to everybody who doesn't believe in the same things as he does.
Hmm.
So, so he'll probably do something like that. Oh, congratulations to you, Spain. But why are you doing this, and he'd find a way
It's
to
about him.
criticize. Yeah, it is.
He makes
Um,
everything about him. Yeah.
well, but it's deeper than that. Okay,
Hmm.
it's about the U.S. for him.
Hmm.
It's he feels he embodies what the U.S. is all about, and so when he wants it to be all about him, it's because he wants it to be all about the U.S. And I mean it backfired on him when he asked for a reversal of the red card and suspension for the U.S. football player. It backfired on him. And whenever he says things like, the U.S. is the hottest country in the world now, we're back on top. We're the best, and everybody loves us. He's
Mm.
delusional. He's delusional.
He is. I always say he's a madman. He's a madman.
Yeah, but and nobody's listening, or fewer and fewer people are listening to him. Um, and
He's so
that's
disgusting.
Yeah, but he's representing the U.S. He's
Yes.
representing the U.S. in a way that makes the U.S. disgusting.
Yeah, the U.S.
Uh,
is a shithole.
yeah, I mean, he's. That's why I'm saying he's delusional. The rest of the world is not applauding the U.S. Not at
No.
all. I mean, maybe a few sycophants here and there. Just like he said, he could murder somebody on Fifth Avenue, and people will still love him. Um, and it's that way with the U.S. I think the U.S.
Mm.
could do. Well, they are. The U.S. is committing war crime after war crime, but still some people think that the U.S. is the answer to world's problems, obviously. Oh, I read today that 9 million people, since Trump took office, 9 million people in the country have left it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. I
That's a
left.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I left before he got elected for his second term. Um, but 9 million people. That's significant. I should see if I can find that article.
That
But
is definitely a significant
yeah,
number of people.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it's for real. For important reasons. Like
Hmm.
I can't make a living there. I'm afraid for my life. Um, Housing costs are up. I have to listen to this man and his toadies every day. I have to laugh. Years ago, when George W. Bush was in power, I was in some chat rooms on AOL, and I wrote one day that there are some toadies in the US government, and my account was shut down. Because people thought I was swearing. I said,
Oh,
no, no. Toady is somebody who just follows you around. They flatter you endlessly. You're like their pet. But there's nothing vulgar about the word itself. About what you do, okay, maybe. But I
mhm.
call them toadies. Somebody reported me, and AOL shut down my account for a day. I had to argue with them about what toady meant.
Yeah, explain it.
But that was nothing compared to what we're facing today.
Mm.
And in the U.S., I mean, what I really want to see is that the U.S. somebody is held accountable for all this stuff. And
Definitely the war crimes
mhm,
over and over and over again, and nothing gets done.
right. No, like 5, 6, 7 days in a row bombing, U.S. bombing civilian infrastructure, bridges, um, power plants, which are all war crimes. And he advertises it. He tells the world this is what he's going to do, what the U.S. is going to do. And then, as I said a little bit earlier, the press turn it around because Trump says, "Well, you better behave now." But
What's that world?
you're the one, Trump, that violated the law and violates it over and over and over again.
And
But
then if there's a response, he gets
mhm.
all angry at the country that's responding.
Yeah, because that's what he does. That's what the U.S. media do. They allow the president to twist and distort the story.
Hmm.
And I mean, I used to love to read through what was happening on Facebook. It was one of the ways I got news, um, and I used to like to respond to people's comments, and I used to check out or practice my debate skills. You can't do that anymore, because half the people on there are paid bots, and
Yes.
you hear all these horrible, horrible comments, or you see all these horrible comments, like about or Johan um, in Maine, um, or the other fellow from Mexico. I mean, people just beat up on the immigrants, and they're empowered or emboldened by how the media report on it, how elected officials talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, it's just, well, disgusting if you
It
want to.
is.
It's all disgusting because somewhere along the way, and we've said this too, Dee, a lot. You know, the world, many people in the world have lost their humanity, and it started with Gaza and the
Mm-hmm.
Palestinians, and many of us said that if we let it go and people are dehumanized, Gazans and Palestinians are dehumanized, it's only a matter of time before it happens here. Well, here, I hope it doesn't happen here in Colombia, but it's more than it's possible if the Abelardos of the world, if they take power, it's definitely possible. Um, Lebanon, it's happening in Lebanon. The dehumanization and the lack of accountability for, as you said, the war crime after war crime after war crime.
Right. If it's the U.S. or Israel, it's okay. It's not, they're above war crimes.
Hmm.
It's like, how dare you use that word with them?
Well, you know what that means, Dee. We'll be branded. We probably already are branded as far left. Um,
The fact
and hmm
that you have a heart,
hmm
you feel empathy. There's something wrong with that.
oh, that's terrorist activity, don't you know?
Having a
Empathy
heart.
and having empathy. Something we've got, as Abelardo said during his campaign, we have to kind of disembowel the left in Colombia. And, you know, disembowel to me also means take out the heart, remove the empathy, the ability to have empathy. Um, hold on. I don't know why. I don't know why my phone is talking to me. Stop. Oh God, it just. All right, got it. Um, yeah. That's another hard lesson I've learned in the last 20 years. I thought maybe because my parents raised me this way, I thought that empathy was the norm. I thought that everybody was born with empathy and that throughout their lives they would practice it and they would learn how to do it better. And one thing I've learned in the last 20 years, I guess, yeah, since 2001, so that's more like 25 years, is that not everybody has empathy. Um, I thought it was a human characteristic.
I thought so too. It's maddening. It really is. And you have people that are so focused on money,
Hmm.
money, money, money. That comes first. Screw human life.
Well, and these comments, now I know they're bots. Well, I know many of them are bots. It's hard to know who's the bot and um, who's not. Who's just a jerk online.
Mhm.
But somebody has to come up with what the bots say. And even the fact that somebody can even think of those things
That's
and
what gets me.
it really bothers me. Like, you know, the things that have been said, the downright lying that has been used to discredit the Colombian fellow who was killed on Monday. People say he was undocumented. No, he wasn't. He was documented. He had a work permit. He had a social security number. But they keep repeating the lies. Oh well, you got to be here legally. If not, you got to face the consequences.
Mm.
Uh,
I'm just
kill
so
it.
sick of it.
I am
Oh,
too. Murder because you don't have the right paperwork, or remember all of course you remember all the people in the boats off the Caribbean coast who were bombed and killed because of accusations of narco trafficking. Oh, and do you yesterday I think it was
mm-hmm,
the 12th anniversary of the bombing of those four children in the same family on a beach in Gaza.
mm-hmm.
Did you see those stories?
It's horrible.
Yeah, I can't believe that it was 12 years ago. I wrote a poem about it soon after, um, that I read in front of about 100 people at a literary conference. I don't think it was 12 years ago. I think it was 10 or 11 years ago. Um, but somebody said, can't argue with it. Oh, yeah. And then you all think that this started on October 7th. Um, you know, July
That's what it
16th.
is.
Go ahead.
Mm. So it's funny. That's what infuriates me. Is
Hmm.
this belief that everything started on October 7th.
And it doesn't matter whatever the evidence is to the contrary. People don't want evidence. They don't care about evidence. They want to believe what they want to believe. God, my phone keeps talking to me. Sorry. Um, so I don't know. I don't know where we're headed. All I know is that I want to be like Gustavo Petro. I want to put my foot down and keep it down and not move. Uh,
Exactly.
hold on to principle. Um, keep talking about the need for those who committed these war crimes to be held accountable.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to get you in trouble though, Dee. I don't want to see this show get, well, it wouldn't be the first time, right?
Uh, it, well, we're just discussing. We're discussing what's in the
What?
news. We're pretty much
Yes.
discussing what's going on.
Yes. Yes, we are. Mm.
It's out there.
Yeah. Yep. Uh and I'm on the ground here in Colombia. You're on the ground there in the US. I mean, there are people here in Colombia that I think believed believed that the US was an answer to all their problems. I think, or going to the US would be an answer to all their problems. I think they're disavowed of that notion now.
Yeah.
Um, my friend, the person I had coffee with this morning, he had maybe 5 years ago. He was talking. He's a campesino. He's in his early 50s, and he was. Oh my God! Why is this thing still talking at me? Okay. Um, he's in his early 50s, and he had been in the U.S. in 2020, I think, or no, 2024, 2023, no, 2022, after the pandemic had peaked and people could move around again. And when he came back to, when I saw him here in Colombia a few months later, he said, "Do you think I should go to the U.S.? Because people, it is hard to find, was hard to find work, and things are difficult." And I said then, "No, I don't think you should go to the U.S. because it isn't easy for people in the U.S. now, even people who were born in the U.S." And that was before the second Trump administration.
Right.
And and he said to me, I'll just finish the story. He said today, he said, "I'm so glad I never went. I didn't go to the U.S. Thank you for your advice." And I said, "You're welcome."
Right,
Um,
because you're telling the truth of what you're going to experience when you come here. I mean, the racism.
oh, oh, Kathleen, hi. Haven't seen you in forever. Um, oh, 6 raccoons feeding on cat food. Baby,
Oh,
baby deer in the creek.
oh, so cute.
Yes, yes. Well, if humans disappoint, there's always the wild animals, and
Exactly.
because humans are just constantly disappointing people now. Yeah, I mean, I used to get in trouble when I came here to visit before I decided to move. Some people, not completely understanding what the U.S. That the U.S. is this vast country. Um, they wanted me to help them get a visa to get into the United States, and I said I really don't know. Uh, I don't really know how to do that. And then they'd say, "But I really want to go to the U.S." And you're right, Evelina. It was seen as a land of opportunity, and for many, going back 30 years maybe, it really was. But now the door is slammed shut. And not just now. I mean, starting with Obama,
Hmm.
the door got was slammed shut, and it always put me in an awkward position because I didn't want to burst anybody's bubble, and discourage people from going to the US. But on the other hand, as you said, Dee, you know, I needed to tell them what I saw as the truth. And, well, here we are. It's all changed for the worst. I
It's,
don't even want to go back, you know.
it's hard on people that are born here.
Mhm.
You're born here, and it's difficult.
Well, and that scene I saw in the bus terminal here today, um, if I saw that scene in the US, I probably would. I've seen it on video, haven't seen it in person. But not only would the ICE agent or the police be roughing up somebody, I think I've been conditioned to expect a gunshot. And, the violence, I was thinking that today, the violence in the US is off the charts now, just off the charts.
Right, because Trump's, that's Trump. He's allowing it.
Not just
The
Trump, though.
administration. The
What?
administration.
Yeah, well, and we've been facing ICE to a lesser extent, under Obama. Well, I don't know if it was called ICE then. I think it was called ICE then. The detention centers. Now, I guess what people will say is, well, but Obama's more genteel, so maybe it won't spark the violence. But the minute we pin all the violence on Trump, In my opinion, the minute we do that, that's the minute we've lost, because so many people are already saying all we got to do is clean out all the Republicans and put Democrats in. No, no. I mean, what Democrat do you know? There's a couple social democrats that maybe which would deal with things differently. I mean, and
But
Mamdan, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, if you're getting corporate money for these detention centers, you want to fill them up.
Hmm. Yes, just like the private prisons.
Hmm.
And the people that are being recruited into ICE now. I mean, the guy who shot the Colombian fellow on Monday, he had anger management issues.
Hmm.
But he was brought right into ICE, and he wasn't in ICE very long when he used that gun. Yeah, Kathleen, Green Party is an answer. The Green Party has its annual meeting coming up next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I will be I'll be in one of the workshops on Latin America, of course,
Yes.
um, problems in Latin America. And then we'll also, the Green Party Peace Action Committee, that's who's putting on these two workshops. We'll also be doing a workshop on the US as a rogue state. And how if we don't follow the law, if the US doesn't follow the law, um, things are already they've almost gotten completely out of hand, um, with all the bombing of Iran, for goodness sakes. Because then you've got Kuwait, you've got the Arab Emirates, you've got Bahrain, you've got all those countries who are saying they are going to go after Iran, not the U.S. for starting all this, but they're going to exact some vengeance or revenge by going after Iran. And what do you think? Are we in World War III already?
Mm, it sounds that way.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm guessing we're not going to do anything with Savvy Sabs today.
No, we'll do that a different night.
Okay. So I don't know what else you wanna say.
Okay, with
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say with the Green Party, I've got to, I want to advertise it on my timeline, right? So
Okay.
yeah, just give me the information.
Okay. Yes, we have some publicity. I don't know if we have it for the one I'm doing, but the publicity is just, yeah, yeah. Actually, the Green Party GPUS has done the publicity for it, so
Hmm.
I'll send you a link, probably tomorrow, and people need to register, but it's what you can afford. There's a fee, but nobody will be turned away.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean the green parties all over the world, especially right now in England and Wales.
Hmm.
Boy, they have a lot of momentum, and we people in the U.S. Are very patient because it's very slow. It's very slow in the US. It's very difficult for the Green Party to gain traction. And then in Colombia and Latin America, It's also very slow because it's very fragmented, very fragmented. There's greens in Colombia, and some greens are good on the issues, are decent, and some greens are not.
Mm,
The Green Alliance in Colombia endorsed Abelardo recently, not before the elections, but in this whole debate over fraud and transfer of power, they said we have confidence in Abelardo, and that's the Green Alliance. Um, but the Greens are also trying to see. For a long time, the Greens were affiliated with the Global Greens, and then some people were not happy with some of the positions that were being taken by some of the Global Greens, pro NATO, pro wall, and of course, Greens wouldn't be. Many of the U.S. Greens wouldn't agree with that. But
right.
if you only participate with people you agree with 3,000%, then you're not changing the world really. You're just talking to people, preaching to the choir. So there's a resolution that's being voted on, and it will be decided upon before this national meeting, which is in Chicago for anybody who wants to go. Um, that this resolution would empower the Greens to reaffiliate because, as people have said, and I know this is a cliche, but bear with me, you can't win it if you don't play, right? You can't win if you don't play the game. And so got to play the game. And then you're in a position to influence people,
Mm,
other Greens. If you say, no, no, we don't want anything to do with you, it's pretty hard to influence them. But
mm.
it's very controversial within the Greens. Why should we work with people we disagree with? Well, maybe you can transform people's points of view. That's
Exactly.
that's
Exactly. That is what's needed.
mhm. Yeah, not in this corner, and then in this corner, and never the two shall meet.
Well, that's it. They need to discuss their disagreements.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We used to be able to do that. Uh,
Right.
Now, oh my God, I mean, some of the arguments I had on social media about gun ownership, for example, got to the point of absurdity because somebody said, "Oh yeah, yeah," because I said, "Well, what are you advocating that there's a tank in every garage?" And the person and the person said, "Yes, I am."
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
yeah, because everybody has a right to own a gun. All right, so but if the government has all kinds of weapons, um, does that mean all the people are going to have those weapons too? Um, anyway, it's another story for another day. I'm just going to say this one more time, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna say goodnight. Um, this is all part of mm, national security presidential memo number 7, and people have been warning about it since last year, about a year ago, maybe more, a little more. And we all have to keep our eyes open because this is what it's already in place. It's not something that has to pass, it's something that's already in place. And some people in some places have already lobbied their state government to not abide by it or not to hand over a full list of people that should be on this list, should be branded or labeled as
Mhm.
terrorists. That's about as far as it's gone. So more people need to speak up about it. More people need to be aware of it. More people need to say, as Sabi Sab said, it's not just about going after Democrats. It's going after anybody who breathes the word socialism, communism, imperialism. Those were the main words that were being used today on Sabi's show. And anybody who's pro Palestinian or anti Israel, watch out, folks.
Mm.
We all have to watch out. And on
Mhm.
that note, Dee, I'm going to say goodnight.
Okay, we got to schedule a show where we'll just talk about that one issue.
Yes, yes, and where you can use your computer and not your phone,
Yes.
so that we can. I mean, and I recommend to people to find Sabi Sab's interview with not her interview with Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller, but she played excerpts from their speeches at this conference about fighting back against international left wing terrorism. God,
Yeah,
it was
I
sickening.
have a poster on my timeline. I shared what
Okay,
you shared, and I put it
okay,
on my timeline.
okay. Yeah, because I highly, we both highly recommend it. All right, Dee, I'm going to
Uh,
say goodnight.
and I'm going to say good night.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Madeline.
My pleasure, perverse pleasure, because it's not fun to talk about these things, but it's better to talk about them than not.
Exactly.
Mm.
To deal with the
Thank
shock of this stuff happening.
Yes. Thank you, Kathleen, for being here. Thank you, Evelina, for your commentary. And we'll talk to everybody soon.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Dee.
Madeline.
Thank you, Dee. Nighty
And
night.
yeah, good night. And I just want to thank everybody again. And Madeline and I will be back um, talking about that very important issue. Well,
Yeah,
thank you and good night, everybody.
good night. And thank you. Oh, Wayne just got here. Uh,
Oh,
sorry, Wayne. I'm on my way out. Maybe Dee will stay.
no, I'm on my way out also.
Okay.
I have
All
this
right.
echoing.
What?
I have this echoing on my end.
Yeah, it's a little sound isn't perfect, but it's good enough. It's been good enough. All right, we got to iron out the tech problems for next time.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you everyone for being here. And Madeline and I will put together a show and talk more about that issue and, you know, show Savvy with her discussion. So thank you again. Peace out. And let's just do what we always do, sharing information and letting everybody know what's going on. So important. Um, especially tonight, Madeline brought up all these issues that were so important and the reason why, we have to share information, be there as a family. Okay. Thank you and good night, everyone.